So right now, there is this massive $13.2 trillion gap in global water infrastructure.
Which is just a staggering number to even try to wrap your head around.
Yeah, it really is. And, well, the fastest way to fix it might actually be doing the exact thing most people are terrified of, which is turning water into a Wall Street commodity.
Right, which sounds awful at first.
Totally. So welcome to today's deep dive. For you listening, we're unpacking this white paper by Kreneon called Commodification Unlock. And honestly, handing water rights over to capital markets sounds like a dystopian nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. But Kreneon basically argues that we are looking at commodification completely wrong.
Because they make the case that in capital markets, commodification actually just means standardization and trust.
Right, like they use this really great analogy in the paper. Imagine trying to buy an apple before grocery stores or grading standards even existed.
You'd just be, what, haggling with a farmer over a single basket?
Exactly. Every transaction is totally bespoke. And because of all that friction, no bank is ever going to lend you money to plant a whole new orchard.
Because the returns are just way too unpredictable.
Right. And that exact bespoke friction is what is choking water infrastructure today.
Yeah, because every single desalination plant or, rural well is this complex one-off engineering experiment.
And no institutional bank wants to underwrite a one-off experiment.
But wait, standardizing apples makes sense, right? Because you can just put them on a truck and ship them anywhere.
Right, they're highly transportable.
But water is incredibly heavy and hyper-localized. I mean, you can't cheaply pipe water from a desalination plant in Spain all the way to a drought in California. So how does making it a commodity actually attract global capital?
Well, you have to look at the renewable energy playbook.
Okay, how so?
So, in the early 2000s, solar and wind had this exact same problem. They were these risky, totally bespoke local builds.
Right.
But then the market created standard power purchase agreements and renewable energy certificates.
Oh, so they essentially commodified the green electron.
Exactly. And once that uniform contract existed, private capital just exploded. It went from like $50 billion to over $600 billion.
Wow, which triggered this massive economic flywheel, right?
Yeah, completely. Standard contracts brought in institutional wealth, which then scaled up all the manufacturing.
And suddenly the lifetime cost of utility-scale solar just plummeted by, what, 89%?
An 89% drop. It's incredible. And Kreneon is applying this exact same unbundling blueprint to water now.
Okay, let's unpack this for the listener. How does that physically work?
So they put secure real-time monitors directly onto a water producer's storage tanks.
Just to verify exactly how much clean water is actually being manufactured.
Right.
Hold on, though. You're losing me a bit.
All right.
You're saying Kreneon leaves the physical water in the tank, but they trade the data.
Yes, exactly.
But how does a bank underwrite data instead of a physical asset? I mean, to me, that just sounds like a recipe for some crypto-style bubble.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but you have to think of it less like a speculative token and more like a certificate of origin.
Yeah.
The physical water molecule stays exactly where it is, goes straight to hydrating that local community.
But the system strips away that verified environmental data.
Exactly. It converts that data into a tradable digital asset called a virtual water purchase agreement, or a VWPA.
Ah, so it functions a lot like a carbon credit then.
Yes, you've got the exact mechanism.
So by buying a VWPA, a big corporation is basically funding the creation of clean water somewhere else. And that offsets their own local water usage.
And that just completely transforms the balance sheet for everyone involved.
Oh, so.
Well, think about a massive industrial manufacturer. Before, they'd have to spend, $10 to $20 million in upfront capex to build their own bespoke water recycling facility.
Just to hit a net positive water footprint.
Right. But now they can just buy VWPAs as a predictable operating expense instead.
Oh, wow. And for the supplier side, say, an innovator who's building solar-powered desalination plants, this is a total lifeline.
It changes everything for them.
Because before, they couldn't get a loan, since the local community couldn't afford those premium water rates. But now they can just pre-sell these digital VWPAs to that wealthy manufacturer.
Exactly. And armed with that ironclad corporate contract, they go to the bank, secure a lower interest loan, and actually drop their capital costs by 2 to 3%.
Which gives them the leverage to go out and build 10 more plants.
Right. It creates the actual institutional plumbing required to reward the people generating the resources.
Instead of just punishing the people consuming them.
Exactly.
So commodification isn't actually the enemy of conservation here. It's the funding mechanism.
It really is. We're basically unlocking trillions in capital just by fixing a data bottleneck.
Which is wild to think about. And that leaves us with a final thought for you to explore on your own. If we can effectively fund the preservation of physical water by extracting and trading its digital certificate of origin, what other critical local natural resources could be saved by applying this exact same digital unbundling?